Hi, this is heart card number 5. I've taken black cardstock, cut 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4 and fold it in half using my Martha Stewart scoreboard. And because this is dark cardstock, I'm cut some white cardstock at 5 1/4 by 4 inches and am taping it inside the card. I've put card liners in almost all my cards, even if there's not dark cardstock for the card, just to give it some strength. And I put the second mat upside down on the first one and then close it, and make sure I have all the adhesive off. For this pink plaid patterned paper, I'm using black soot distress ink to ink the edges. And that just gives it a finished look and you don't see the white edges on the side of the card. Out of the 3x4 cards that come with this collection, I've taken this one that has the dress form in the corner, and I'm just inking the edges. And explain the hearts later. So I'm just going to center that card onto the pink plaid paper and put adhesive on there and center all of that on the card front. It's good to make sure which way is the card front before you tape it down, because I have done it backwards several times. Now I have a black cardstock heart and a white cardstock heart, and I have templates for them if you don't have dies to cut them out. I'm using an embossing folder that is a Sizzix Roses embossing folder by Jan Long, and embossed just part of it, and I'm using the picked raspberry distress ink to ink the edges. And I'm just blending that on the edges, and then I go over the top of it. And now I will just glue that in place. And I'm using wet glue here because the top heart is embossed, and if I just taped it on, there might not be enough paper to grip onto the tape just because it's so embossed. You have high areas and low areas, and glue will hold all of it. So now I'm thinking it needs something else, so I find some houndstooth paper. I'm going to cut a small strip that's 4 1/4 by 1/2 inch. That way it will go all the way across the card at 4 1/4, but it needed something else, so I've grabbed a scrap of black paper, and I'll trim it down to 3/4 of an inch, and then I'll cut it at 4 1/4 also. And I'm going to try it out on the card before I glue it in place. And here I'm honestly just using the glue because it was handy. And now I've taken the same 3x4 cards and I'm looking through them all, but I end up picking the same one that has the dress form on the front, and I'm going to use the opposite side. There's a white background with a black scalloped lace and pink flowers, and at first I think I'm going to use the flowers and the lace, and I go to the trouble of cutting all that out, but then I see that it's not going to work, so I end up just cutting that strip of black scalloped lace. And you can see here what I mean. And I just try it out and keep changing my mind, and eventually I'll just end up with that black scalloped lace. And as I used to tell my kindergartners when I taught school, that you try to hold your wrist straight with the scissors. You hold your scissors straight and turn the paper with your other hand. But then again, I've noticed I've done it so much that I'm pretty good with working with both hands. And it may take a little bit of getting used to. And there I'm just fussing away at all the little pieces. I end up cutting them off anyway. But it's a process. That's pretty much how I do most things. I just get started and then see what I want to add. Now to hide the white edges, I'm using the Black Soot Distress Stain again. And I don't know what's wrong with my blender at first, and then it dawns on me that I have the blending foam upside down. But, you know, it worked. One side was, the side that adhered to the loopy part of the holder was black anyway, so. And there, I'm going to put it at the top, and it just gives it a little more distinction up at the top. And all these little pieces, for now, I'm going to put them in a little bag and save them with the rest of this paper. And since I'm doing so many cards with this paper, I thought I would just save those in case I want to use them, and if I don't, I can throw them away later. And here we have the finished card. This was the Authentique Classic Pretty Paper Collection, and all the supplies are available at scrapadabadoo.com. The templates and measurements for all the cards are available to download on my blog, papercompulsions.blogspot.com.